Valentina and Antonina, thank you for joining us here at Barry's Downtown Prime. The first thing that I want to ask you guys is, give me some of the earliest memories you have of growing up as sisters together.
The earliest. Hard to choose one, right? But I would say every time it was kind of like I felt the constant support from Antonina, because it's like she already passed some like experience she already had, and I just starting my way in martial arts. So she was like older sister, she was looking after me, not getting me in trouble, and like, yeah, it's, I think, the best what I could have.
But yeah, of course, she's my little sister, and so our mom, when she wanted ask her daughter to be the same like her in martial arts, she brought us to the gym of our coach Pavel, and first me, because I'm older, and then when Valentina like was about 5 years old,
yes.
Yeah, of course it was my responsibility to take care of her, to bring her by hand to the gym and like look after her, and
but it was not something like you consider it was like nice, she's taking care, and like, no, it was. She was taking care, looking after me, but she was so severe. She was like, I had to do everything what she's saying. So she was, because, yeah, it's kind of like growing up in Kyrgyzstan, because we have all this like respect to the older people, the older, even like if you're older 1 month, you have to have all the respect, right?
Yes.
And more that martial arts putting that respect on you for the for example, she was higher ranked at that moment. Yeah, she already had her belt, and yeah, that's why it's like double feeling, double respect what I had to have to her. That's why it's always was like, she's saying, I'm doing it. It was it was different kind of take care.
How would you describe each other's personality? So can you describe Antonina? You just did a little bit, but describe her as a person, and then Antonina, describe her.
She's very responsible. You know, it was few trainings, for example, for when Pavel had to miss trainings, and he was putting some like older students who has like already black belt just to lead the training. And when it was Antonina leading the training, it was worse training. She would do everything exactly what Pavel told her to do, with like everything, all techniques, even more. So if it's like we have to start 6 p.m. till 8 p.m., it's gonna be like minute to minute. We're gonna start at 6 and 8 to and end the training at 8. With other, for example, we could like start at 6:15 to play half a training, then end like whatever. But with Antonina it was worst. So this is her.
I was
like,
responsible.
This is what I
For
want to
you.
say. She is like very responsible, and when she starts to do something, for example, now she is doing aviation, and it's like take her all attention. She is so deep in there, and it's like step by step. She wants to do everything right, everything like perfect, the way she can do it, and this is a like major quality of her nature.
And Antonina, how about Valentina?
So Valentina, I think she has both sides about the same responsibility, and be very focused, very fanatic about martial arts and about everything what she's doing as a UFC champion, because on the training sometimes it's so hard, like you feel just hard, the weight cut, not about you, but it's still training, training after training, and sometimes it's just hard. And she's very tough in this sense. So she can be so fanatic and so focused in this sense. So I have to kind of, she's sometimes example for me in being that what she's doing. And other sides that she has, she's very joyful person. She's happy. She loves music. I mean, she loves dance. So she can be funny with people who she likes. She can be very tough with people who she doesn't like. Yes. So it's kind of both. But I think with people who are her friends, she's a very nice person and very happy and joyful person.
What role do you think mixed martial arts has had in your life?
It's everything.
It's everything. The biggest role what it can have, it is. As I was mentioned, that martial arts for me, for us, it's more than just a sport. It's more than just your career. It's everything.
It's all our life. It's all our path we are going. It's all about what we are doing. So if even I do aviation, it's all the martial arts philosophy in this, how to approach different things, even it's not the sport.
And how did it get that way? How did it become just at the essence of everything you do?
I think with the time, because more time you spend doing something, more you understand, more deeper you can feel it. And by the end, you understand, doesn't matter what you do, it has the same principles. It can have same exactly principles, every single detail. And this is, I think, it's more experience you have, more you understand the world.
How early in life did you realize that in order to pursue martial arts in the way that you wanted to, you would have to leave your home? You would have to travel around the world. How early did you realize
It
that?
was early. We started to travel very, very early. First, it was like
National?
Near Kyrgyzstan, like Russia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. And we travel actually, even when we were little girls, we had on Issyk Lake, like when during summer break, 3 months, it's in Russia, when we don't have school. We just traveled to Issyk Lake and had their training camp all 3 months. So not living at home.
So it's basically the same. You are not living with your parents. We are like all like about trainings, and it's like the same lifestyle. So it's already starting to growing up with the same idea that you have to be independent. You have to know how to take care about yourself and like all these things. And then when we started to travel more and more, like farther and farther, it didn't impact us that way.
And in addition to you two, it's your coach Pavel, right? So when did you kind of really start? When did that sort of core come together between you three?
It's hard to say, like these days, these years, these months. No, it's just like through the years, we are doing like what we love. We sharing the same passion for martial arts. We sharing the same way of lifestyle, and we have so many things in common that it's like we became like a very strong team. And I think this is the best because through the years it's could show that this team can bring success.
You guys traveled around a lot, obviously following the sport, but Peru was a big one, and that was in 2008?
Oh, we traveled 2008 there.
2008. Tell me what went into the decision of going to Peru. First of all, why did you feel like you needed to go somewhere, and why was Peru where you ended up?
First of all, because it was so far from Russia, from Kyrgyzstan. You know, it's kind of like Latin America. It's South America, it's that far, you don't know what is there. It's so interesting what is there. And definitely we were reading a lot of book about like culture, but it's still so unknown that you kind of feel that you won't discover it by yourself. Not only by movies, not only by like documentary films, but also live this experience like in life. And we just thought that it's gonna start with 6 months travel, and we were thinking that going from one country to another country and like have all these months in all South America. But I don't know, accidentally or no, we chose Peru like a first country to stop, and we traveled there. And since there, we had like
just people there. They wanted. When Valentina came there, she was a 5-time world champion. And people, they just they wanted to start to learn this Muay Thai because it was kind of more style of kickboxing Muay Thai. But when Valentina came and with Pavel, of course, they did some seminars. They started to teach, and people they wanted to learn. They kind of were hungry to learn, and
And
So-
we started to travel from one city to another city and starting to discover Peru. And we really like this country, the food, the tradition, the
People.
different weather, the different climate. Because
different nature. I
Yeah.
mean, Lima is the coastline, right? There is jungles also, Amazon River. It's
Mountains,
absolutely totally
altitude,
different
yeah.
wild world, and mountains in Peru. So it's
you can have everything you wish. If you need to train in altitude, you can go, for example, in Cusco, in Puno. If you want to fight like in the tropical or like to have training camp, you are going to Amazon. And we spend a lot of time living in Amazon River. Actually, we lived between capital Lima and Amazon River. Our like village, it was 30 minutes by boat from Iquitos, so it was wild place where you are when you are coming there. You know, there is no the things like modern
electricity.
civilization, modern civilization, and your first 2 days you're like feeling weird, but then you are just completely disappear on the nature, with the nature, and you feel so unique, and you just don't want to leave. You just want to stay there and train there and forget about anything about the other world. It's different world over there.
I think Amazon River jungles is just one of the little places that we have now that's totally out of society, and it's totally like wild. For
Sometimes you need it. All fighters need this wild side of themselves just to forget about comfortable gyms, about comfortable mats, and go and
It's so
train on the
romantic.
field.
We did this travel on the lanchas, they called the boat with hammocks. We did the travel. We traveled to all Amazon River from one ocean to another ocean. We started in Belém, in Brazil, like during 20 days,
Yes.
we did this travel in hammocks to Iquitos, and it was so cool.
Yes.
Where do you think this sense of adventure comes from, you guys? Because I feel like a lot of people would hear that and they say, I want to do that, but then for whatever reason they don't do it. So where does a sense of adventure or freedom come from that allows you to do it?
It's understandable why they are not doing it, because any travel, even the most comfortable travel, it's bring some kind of stress, because it's new situation, it's new relationship between people who you don't know, and every time it's going to be something.
It's always something unknown and different.
And people just afraid, and
To something different, they cannot just don't want to accept.
But you know, the best what travel can bring, it's to see how the people live, to see what they're doing, what they're eating, to see their culture, and it's give you understanding of the whole of everything. You can living in one condition appreciate it, and living in another condition thinking like, oh yeah, so good that I have mine like own place to live. But definitely it give you, it's bring you the travel, it's bring you so many like feelings, and it's like so good memories. Each travel it's bring more experience to your life, and I would not change it for anything.
Yeah, and it definitely started from the early age, from the beginning. I mean, from the education, because when we started travel with Pavel, it was his philosophy. The traveling, it's just opening your
Mind.
your eyes. You just different people. You start to be different person, and of course, our mom, she was just supporting all this traveling and discovering places and everything else. So I think it just very depends on how when the child is just like 8 years old, how parents will educate the child. If they put this that traveling is good and you always travel, so child growing up is already knows this is good, he likes it. If not, he kind of afraid of it. So it's definitely dependent on the family, on the people around you, where you grow up.
But you know, also the Kyrgyz people, they are like ethnically nomad people.
Well, and because of the activities that you guys have fallen in love with, Valentina, as you know, a lot of the MMA community, it's an inside joke that they believe that you are a spy. What do you think of this theory that you are a spy? And can you tell us positively you are not a spy?
First of all, I'm not a spy. I say that in the modern world, it looks a little bit weird when a person knowing more than one thing. When it's a fighter, know how to shoot, love to travel,
Speak languages.
and they're like, oh, something wrong with this thing. But no, it's just desire. It's just like want to learn more, because we have to educate ourselves as much as we can. It's not time to stop, never to learn. We can learn like all our life, and this is the best what we can do.
We cannot waste the time. I mean, we just have one life, and it passes like very fast.
I just trying to invest in myself, in my education, not in things, in my education.
I asked you guys in the beginning what it was like to grow up with each other as kids. What has it been like to go through the experience that you have? And you know, me and Valentina were talking earlier about how you know, back in your home, there are a lot of fighters who would want to do this. They just haven't been able to travel and get sort of the exposure and the experiences they need to further their fight career. You guys have done that, and you've done it together. But what does it mean? What does it mean to do it sort of as a team and not just an individual?
It's absolutely great, and I think that me having my sister like a friend and like a partner, like a martial artist who understands me and can support me in any time when I need this support, it's very important, because you feel you're not alone. And sometimes her example when she continued like on the training or somewhere gives me more strength to continue. And this is everything actually.
And I think that when people they are just alone and trying to do things,
It's
like
harder.
It's
very
harder,
hard.
definitely, because sometimes you need advice, sometimes you need support, sometimes you need just a strong word with a like kind
Strong
of
kick.
push.
Strong kick.
Just like, oh, what are you doing? Just do it, because
Yeah,
like,
sometimes people getting lazy and somebody just have to push them.
and when you are like moving with your team, who you can trust, who you can believe, rely on, it's I think this is the like key for success.
Do you think, and it's probably tough to answer because I mean you're sisters, you love one another, but do you think you could have done it without the other one? If you
No.
were an only child, or if you didn't have a sister,
No.
could you have made it?
I
there?
can't imagine
No.
this. We started too early together and doing this together, so I cannot imagine how it would be different.
It would be different totally, and I definitely say it's going to be totally different the way what we are having right now. And I could not do it without Antonina. I could not do it without Pavel. I could not do it without my mom's support. I could not do it.
So, what do you think life is going to look like when you do stop fighting? You've been, the three of you, traveling around the world, chasing fights and martial arts forever. When you decide that we're not going to actively fight anymore, what is that going to look like?
Sometimes I think it's just I'm going to spend all days just eating, but of course it's not.
I think a lot of fighters think that they're just going to spend time eating.
And not getting fed.
Fortunately, it's not.
I think that I would love to be part of movie business. I would like to make movie. I cannot wait when the movie with Halle Berry of her directional debut gonna be like live and see how it's turned out, because I'm the main opponent of her in the movie. And I just want to do more and more things like that, because I had so good, so positive experience with Halle. She's like so good person, amazing person, and I would love to do it more.
And I think Valentina would be very great in this, because first she has a lot of skills, and second she likes this and she's good in it. I mean, when we saw her acting with Halle Berry, of course it was her environment, I mean fighting, but she did very great. I mean, everybody was very happy with her performance.
And aviation, I'm sure.
Yes, I think I would like to extend my fighter life as long as possible because I love it. I just love it. But I think, yeah, sooner or later, I see my life in aviation as a pilot, and I would like to be a bush pilot flying in Alaska or airline pilot.
Wow.
So
It's
that's my goal.
different extremes, like a
That
bush
is.
pilot, airline pilot.
I like both. I didn't decide yet, but I have time to gain these 1,500 flight hours to become airline pilot and decide maybe I fly both.
You guys have had such an amazing life, but I gotta ask, do you feel like you have missed anything, or that you have made any sacrifices based on your just hard pursuit of excellence in martial arts? Do you feel like you've had to give up anything?
To give up like what? Going to the clubs, going to the bars, get drunk and like do whatever crazy stuff? I'm not consider it that it's sacrificing something. I totally fine
I'm
with
happy we missed this.
Yes, I did sacrifice like my graduation at the high school, and I was like, it was like World Muay Thai, World Championship at the time, and graduation day the same time. So I did sacrifices, but it worth it because I know that my passion is martial arts, and I would sacrifice anything would gonna be like against it.
I think little things like people could think about sacrificing, like, I don't know, some rest day or vacation, like children enjoy sometimes watching movies or something. I think the thing that we have now, it's more than this. It's definitely worse, and that's what you makes happy. If this makes you happy, you can do this. There is no sacrifice for other things.
The most important, you won't feel any sacrification if you love what you're doing. You're gonna definitely not be able to do the same, like the same time, like 2 things, 3 things at the same time. But if you love it, what you're doing, you're gonna be happy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.